Feels strange. Hello and welcome to the Knitting and Labradors podcast. My name is Karen and I'm coming to you from the northeast of Scotland. I live in the northeast of Scotland with my partner, our two little boys and my dog Luna. And it's been a while. I have been gone for some time. It might even be as much as a year. I'm not sure if it's as long as a year, but it's been a while. As I mentioned, we now have two little boys in our family, and that was the main reason for me being gone. Pregnancy was rough with many bumps along the road, but all is well now. My little boy is happy and healthy, and he is 6 weeks today, so all is well on that front. But yeah, roller coaster, which killed my knitting mojo, and yeah, I pretty much stopped doing everything apart from sleeping, eating, and looking after a toddler and working because there wasn't much brain space left for anything else. So I have, however, I would say like the day after he was born, my knitting mojo came back like with a bang, and now I want to work on everything. I did do a little bit of crocheting before he was born, which kind of got me into it, but there was just so many kind of like ongoing issues that kind of dragged on till the end that I just wasn't in the right headspace to do any kind of crafting. Tell a lie, I did actually do quite a lot of cross stitch, especially in the earlier months, which was nice. I don't know why, knitting just felt like, I don't know, I just couldn't do it. So I kind of decided to come back today. It feels a bit strange because I haven't really finished anything. I can't even remember last time I would have podcasted. I think it would have been November. But I didn't really have any finished objects to show, didn't really make sense to show some things, so I thought what I would do is go through and do a whip parade. I think it was last week, no, it was 2 weeks ago, I cleared out my craft room and went through all my whips and frogged a couple of things, and what I have on the needles and hook right now are my current projects, everything that I currently am working on, so hopefully this will give me a bit of motivation to finish them all. And I'm still casting on things every day as we go. I cast on a new blanket today. I started making a giant stuffy like a plushy elephant yesterday. I've cast on a jumper last week. I cast on a blanket the week before. I'm going to show them all to you today, so we better get started because I've got quite a lot to go through. I'm actually home alone today, which is really nice, and I think probably the first time I've been home alone since long before, I can't even remember last time I was in the house like on my own with like no dog, no baby, no toddler, no partner. It's bliss, it's just silence. It's lovely, so I thought I would take the opportunity to film. Anyway, so today, first project I have cast on this morning. I haven't done very much and it's like 5 o'clock almost. I am taking part in the Fall into Autumn Cal. Goodness, I'm doubting myself that's what it's called. The Fall into Autumn Cal with the Burrow UK on Instagram and Hobbycraft. So it's like through Knitcraft. I don't know if that's just like their crafting page or something, but they're doing a Fall into Autumn Cal and it's just the most beautiful blanket, which is perfect for autumn because I don't know wherever you are in the world, but right now it has gotten freezing here in Scotland. I was walking the dog yesterday and I came back and my ears were like in agony from, you know, just like the cold and stuff. So Fall into Autumn Cal blanket just sounded like the perfect thing, and it's stunning. It's got like toadstools and mushrooms and it's just the cutest thing. And it started today, so I have cast on. So I've only managed to do most of the first row, but I'm hoping to sit down later on tonight. We're actually toddler free tonight and we're having like a ready-made Indian meal, so there's like no cooking, there's a lot of tidying to do, but once I've done all that I'm hoping to sit down and work on this. So I've done most of the first row. I hope I've done it right. I'm actually not the greatest. When it came back to crochet, I was like, oh, I actually can't remember how to do that very well, and I had to look up every single stitch, whereas like before I would have been able to do that off by heart. I was like half treble, double treble, treble. Oh my god, what is that? So I was like, I had to go through them and do it again and again. So, but all good now, and I've done quite a bit whilst baby was asleep on me earlier, and yeah, I'm hoping to get quite a bit done on this. The first row is something like 30, the first clue, sorry, is like something like 30 rows, so I don't think I'll get it done within the 7-week time frame, I think it is, including the border. I don't think there'll be any chance I'll get even close to that, but it's a really beautiful blanket and it can be done for next autumn. It can be ready and pulled out and maybe sitting on the back of my sofa or something like that for next autumn, which will be really nice, because I guess it is autumn. It'll be finished probably almost in winter time, even though it's an autumn blanket, so it can come out next year, and that'll be exciting. So that's my first whip, which is one of the many blankets you're going to see today. My next one is a very exciting one. I cast on a jumper for myself. and I think this has been on the needles for 9 days now. I've done quite a bit. So this is my Monday sweater by Petiteknit, and this is actually the second time I've knit the Monday sweater, and it's one of my favourite raglan jumpers. It's just, I love the design elements of it. I love the longer ribbon, I love the double folded neckband, it's just lovely. So I'm doing it slightly differently. So in the pattern it's one strand of fingering weight and one strand of mohair. I don't get on very well with a lot of mohairs. The only two I've found that I can wear is Filicolana Tilia, and even then it's a very fluffy one, which I don't love, and the Knit and For Olive soft silk mohair, but that's quite expensive. So that is the only, I would say soft silk mohair is the only one I love that I can wear. I like Tilia too, but it's just super fluffy, which is not always good with little ones and stuff. So this is my Monday sweater, and I'm knitting it in one strand of Sandnes Garn Pure Gynt, which is a DK weight. So I just, yeah, it could probably stand up on its own. The fabric is quite stiff, but I'm knitting the third size, and Pure Gynt is 100% Norwegian wool, and it does feel a little bit rough. So when I had my little boy back in October 2021, I found that I was then allergic to most things, not most things, but a lot of things, quite often on my hands or on my neck or my head. Like I've got a real sensitivity in my head now. I really struggle to find like hats and things. I made like beautiful hats for everyone last winter. It was, oh goodness, Jason's cashmere hat, and I made them all Malabrigo Rios, which is a beautifully soft yarn. I couldn't wear it because I was so allergic to it. Not all wools, but just some, bizarrely. So yeah, I've got to be quite careful with what I wear. However, what I did was I swatched for this one, and I was bang on gauge, which never happens. I don't know how it happened. Must have been I usually knit a little bit tighter, but I must have been feeling relaxed that day. I always have gauge issues constantly. It must be like my hands must feel my emotions, and when I'm stressed I knit really tight, I don't know. But anyway, I swatched for this, blocked it, and it blocked beautifully. It softened so much. It's already a lot softer than, like, it looks really rustic, which it is, but it the swatch softened up a lot. And then what I did was I wore it in my jumper. That's kind of like what I do to make sure I can wear it. So I wear it like in my neck, and I wore it for a couple of hours in the house, and I was totally fine. So I think this should be absolutely fine. I've just split for the sleeves not very long ago, maybe 10 rows down, and it's lovely in the round stockinette knitting now. So good for when a baby falls asleep, as long as it's within reach. That's the thing, when you've got a baby that sleeps a lot, you want it to be within reach, because if you leave your knitting on the other side of the room, you've got no hope, because you are not moving and waking that baby for anything. So we are going away on holiday. It's my toddler's birthday in a couple of weeks, and we are going away on holiday just Monday to Friday, and I would really like to take this with me, because it's just kind of going to be the perfect kind of transitional jumper to wear. It's getting cold, but it's not quite like big jacket weather yet, so this would be really cozy. And I'm hoping to buy like one of those long gilet things. My friend had one on yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's like the perfect transitional, and that would go with a lot of knitwear as well, and especially the other side of the season as well, when you're coming out of the colder weather. Whereas like in Scotland it's kind of always cold, so you could probably get away with it almost all year round, minus like that summer we had in July, that summer we had in June, and then we did actually have quite a bit of warm weather recently. It was really funny today. It was cold in my house this morning. It was cold in my house. My house does that thing, like if the all the heaters come on automatically when the heat, I don't really understand heating, I never pay attention, but like it clicks in like when the house drops to a certain temperature, and they'd obviously kicked in this morning because it was colder, and my toddler was standing at the heater blowing on it, and I was like, what's wrong? He's like, hot, because it kicked in. It was very funny. But yeah, that is my Monday sweater, so I'm hoping to have it done for going on holiday. In fact, we go on holiday, okay, I don't think it'll be done, it's a week on Monday for the Monday sweater. It's a week, yeah, we go on holiday in a week on Monday, so I'm not sure if it'll be finished for then, but we'll see. So this is Pure Gynt, and I think it was in the medium grey or the light grey, but yeah, I would highly recommend trying it, especially if you like rustic wools, you will absolutely love it, but if you're not the biggest fan of rustic wools, I would say this is a good in-between. But obviously you have to try it for yourself, because it might be awful on me, I don't know. My first Monday sweater, I can't wear. It's in a strand of Filicolana arwetta and a strand of Drops Kid Silk mohair, but Kid Silk is like fire on my skin. I've tried to wear that jumper quite a few times, and then I bought like quite a fitted long sleeve top from H&M to wear under it, and it kind of covered most areas, it was still like, as soon as it touched my neck, it was like my neck was on fire. So I might even just gift that to my nan or something. I feel like my nan would be able to wear that, so I might just give her that one. So yes, that is the first garment you're going to see for myself. There are a few to come, but that is my first one, and that is my Monday sweater. My next project was my obsession before I cast on the Monday sweater. So I've actually been quite monogamous on some projects, apart from a project that's been for car knitting. So this is a blanket project, and it's a knitted blanket that came out maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe. And it is the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. And I just had to cast it on when I saw it. I absolutely adore this blanket. So I changed it slightly. The original pattern is in the DK weight, but I changed it to knit it in fingering weight, and I amended the sizes of the squares ever so slightly so that I could use half of this advent and make the most of it. So I increased a little bit more, and then the bare yarn that I'm using is Chester Wool Platinum Sock, which I believe is like the supplier that quite a lot of dyers use, well, here in the UK anyway. So I thought that'd be quite good because it looks like exactly the same yarn, so I would think that's maybe, oh sorry, this is a Truly Hooked advent, and this was from 2022. I bought way too many advents last year, as I usually do, and I had justified buying one more advent by saying that I would make it into a blanket for my toddler, so it wasn't going to waste. I'd done a granny square, and I'd maybe done 3 colours, and I thought, no, that needs to be something else. And then when this came out, I thought, this is perfect. So I will have 48 squares out of this advent, and then I'll have to just add in one more mini. But I'm delighted with it. I really, really love this project. It's like, the construction is addictive. So this is your starting square, and then these are like your, is that your rights or your left? I can't remember, and I'm confused because I'm holding it the other way. But every other square in between that is called your top squares, and they're knit with German short rows, and they are so addictive. I can't give anything away because it's paid for a pattern, but oh my goodness, I love knitting them. It's so addictive. And the pattern also tells you to sew in your ends as you go, and I would highly recommend doing that because it actually makes it really difficult for yourself when you don't sew them in for picking up stitches, because everything's a bit loose. I have sewn them in on some of them, but I was a bit lazy and I was too excited to cast on the next colour, and especially with using an advent, because you're like, oh, which one's going to come next? And I'm doing absolutely no colour placement whatsoever. It's just all the random colours, and I can't remember what any of them are either. I feel like this was maybe like Tinkerbell, Cruella de Vil. I think that was Belle, and that very much does look like a Belle colourway, but I can't remember any of the other ones. I don't know why that's given like Alice in Wonderland vibes. My friend Jess got this as well, so I'll maybe have to ask her if she can remember them, because she's got better memory than I do. So, but yes, I am delighted. It's such a lovely project, and it's going to make a lovely size. So that's 4 by 4, and it's going to be 7 by 7. So it's going to make a really nice square blanket, perfect for little people. There'll be little people in my house for a good while, and if not, the dog will adopt it. My dog loves a blanket, so she currently has on her bed 2 of our big fluffy cozy Costco blankets. I don't know if you've ever seen the blankets. They used to be like £7 in Costco. They're a good bit more expensive now. They're probably double that now, but oh my goodness, we have about, I think we have 5 of them in this house, and the dog currently has 2 of them on her bed because she loves like making a pile and then lying on them. I mean, she also likes lying on piles of dirty washing, so she's not fussy, but the fleecy blankets are lovely, so highly recommend them if you're ever at Costco. But yes, that is the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose, and I am just in love with this project. It's so addictive, and because I've been spending quite a lot of time sat on the sofa, sat here exactly, this is a recliner here, with a very small person asleep on me, I got a lot of work done on it. So that is my Sweet Shop blanket, and just pulling that out actually really makes me want to work on that. But I've been working on a giant plushy elephant, which I'll show next time, which will hopefully be a finished object. I did bring it over, but it looks a really weird shape right now, so I don't really want to show it. I will show it once it's done, hopefully, because I've not got much to do. So that is another whip, but I won't show you that one. My next one is again for me as well, and a very fitting project for right now because, as I said, it's getting cold. I have a Musselburgh on the needles. So this is only ever the second Musselburgh I've ever knit, and it's been on the needles for ages. I bought this yarn when my friend Lauren and I went to maybe the first Cookston Crafts craft night, which is a local dyer to me, and the yarn is just incredible. I've got the advent this year, which is very exciting. But yeah, so I cast this on, I think the night that I came home, if not the weekend. It's usually on a Friday night, and it was definitely on that weekend, but it is sat on the needles for, I don't even know when we would have gone, March or April. But I did this week just buy a fixed circular needle on 2.75. That's what I knit my Musselburgh on, because it was on Magic Loop and it was just going nowhere. Magic Loop always slows me down anyway, but also I have this really strange issue with interchangeable needles. Every interchangeable needle I think I've used, I've tried a few, where I untwist them. It must be the way I knit, or I must grip the needles or something like that. I have the little key that tightens them, but for whatever reason, when I'm knitting, I do slacken the needles ever so slightly, and then eventually they just, well, they don't come off. I usually notice before then, but that was happening a lot on this project, so I don't know if it's because I was holding it tighter with it being smaller, I don't know, smaller needles, or what was happening. I don't understand it really, but I decided to invest in a fixed circular because I want to knit quite a few Musselburghs, and probably quite a few for myself, because I've got some lovely, lovely skeins of yarn in my stash that would make lovely Musselburghs. So yeah, that's for me. And hopefully when we go on holiday, we're going up north, and it's about 3.5 hours. It's horrific. There is a spider on my wall, and it's just run into the corner behind. We have like a house alarm thing, and there's like a detector thing in the corner, and the spider's gone behind there. My partner's useless with spiders, and so am I. And it's in the corner, and I feel like, oh, anyway, there's a spider. Sorry, I got very distracted. So yeah, that's my Musselburgh, not much more to say. And it's just this beautiful yarn. The craft night was funny because we were sitting at the very end of the table after we got unbelievably lost getting there. I was driving with my friend Lauren's very terrible directions, and we got quite lost, and we were quite late. I was late anyway, picking up Lauren, and then we got very lost going there. We pulled into these random people's driveways in the middle of nowhere, and we were driving past this person's conservatory, and they live in the middle of nowhere, and they must be thinking, who are these people? I almost reversed into a wall when we came out of one of the houses, and yeah, it was a disaster. But when you're sitting at the craft night, there was just this ginormous wall behind me of yarn, and I was like, I can't leave without making a purchase, so I did. And I'm pretty sure I cast it on either the night I got home, maybe not, maybe the day after, and it's been sitting on the needle since then, so I need to get some work on that. But yes, we are going on holiday, as I said, a week on Monday, and it's about 3.5 hours north from us, which will be nice and cold. And I want to get some knitting done on that in the car, so I thought I'll invest in a fixed circular so that it's a bit easier. I'll probably be in the back between a newborn and a toddler, so that'll be quite good knitting for if the toddler ever falls asleep. He doesn't really sleep in the car anymore, so we'll see. Anyway, on to the next project. So as I'd mentioned, I did a bit of crochet before I got back into knitting, probably in maybe June time I think I started it. And I had started when my little boy was born, when my eldest was born, that sounds weird to say, when my eldest was born, I had started a temperature blanket for him in Cascade heritage yarn. And the plan was to knit a stripe. So I'd done like a garter stripe, so there and back for each day. But to be honest, I'm not even sure if I got to Christmas. He was born in October. I'm not even sure I got to Christmas. It was so boring. It was so cold. It was all just like the blues and purples because it was so cold, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I decided to frog the yarn and repurpose it. So I decided to hold it double and make a really beautiful crochet blanket. Now this blanket weighs a ton. I'd actually have to weigh it. It does weigh a ton. So I did hold the Cascade Heritage double, as I said, and I made this beautiful blanket. It's quite big. It's really big, actually. So that's the full size of it. And I didn't crochet over the ends, which I should have done. So I have 3 billion and one ends on here to sew in at some point. I wish there was like a service where you could like, you know, like send it to someone and they would sew in all your ends for you, because I don't know if this will ever get done now that it looks, oh, that's like 3 million strands of yarn. Whereas I always crochet over them. I say always, I've got 3 blankets here and I've never crocheted over any of the ends, but I used to all the time. That was how I did it. And for whatever reason, I have not done it. So could it just be tassels on one side? This side looks really nice. This side looks lovely. But yeah, so I held it double. The bear is like the creamy off-white from Cascade as well, and I just added in the grey, and the rest of them were all in the temperature blanket. So because my little boy in our house, randomly we'd left like the biggest room as the spare room, and we're going to move my little boy in there now that my littlest can use the nursery. Well, he's not going to be in the nursery for a long time, but we're leaving the nursery as it is, and my little boy's moving into the big room for all the toys to go in there, because oh my goodness, my house has been overrun with toys. Cars, diggers, tractors, they're everywhere. So just so I can put some of them in his bedroom, there's a big room with a lot of space, they can just all go in there, and it's about to be his birthday and I just know he's going to get so many more. So I decided to make this to go on his big boy bed. So he is delighted with it, he is so excited. I mean, he's forgotten about it now because it's been sat in a box in my office for, I don't know, when did I finish it? Did I finish it just before? I think I finished the end of September. I think I finished it just when I finished work. So he's forgotten about it now, but he will love it when I bring it out, and if I ever sew in the ends, I regret doing that so much. But maybe it'll get done, I don't know. Maybe sitting watching TV or something, I don't know. No, there's too many things I want to work on. Sewing in ends would never be a priority. Maybe I could do like 10 a day or something. Or see if I could pay my mum to do it. I'd have to bribe her with something, like chocolate or something. I don't know. But because I was then going to be a mum of 2, and I was fully understanding the whole keeping it fair thing. Like my partner's a twin, he's like an identical twin, and his mum's always made sure like everything's fair, everything's equal. And I've like never really understood that until I was pregnant, and I thought, yeah, I get that. I fully get that now. So I went into stash, and I had a lot of leftover Filicolana arwetta as well. So I started a second blanket. This was at the same time as the first blanket, and I had pretty much every rainbow colour, excuse all the random ends, I was just really lazy, and I had pretty much the whole rainbow in stash because I'm obsessed with Filicolana arwetta. If you haven't tried it, then you should, because it's incredible and it's so soft, so soft. Cascade Heritage is very similar to it, and they could go on a project together easily and you wouldn't know the difference, but arwetta is just that bit softer. So I cast this on again. I held it double again. I didn't look at that. I think they're gonna have to be oh, I'm pulling out the whole part. Oh, I've just taken out the whole bit. Oops. Anyway, so this was, yeah, like 10 colours or something. I can't remember how many, but this one has stalled. It's only this size because I've run out, and I need 11 balls to finish it. So I need like 4 of the white, and then I need 7 of the colours, because some of them I had little sweaters quantities for jumpers like this colour and things that were just never going to get into jumpers. But I need 11, and it's like, are they over £5 a ball? So it's like, God, why can't I do that math? £55, £60. This was supposed to be a stash busting project. Spending £60 to finish a blanket is not in my budget or in my plan at any time, because I'm now on maternity leave. So there is no budget for that whatsoever. So I don't know when this will get done. It could be cast off. He is a very small person just now. You could use it sideways. I don't know. Or I could make a giant border. I don't know. It'll maybe get finished one day, but it's going to get tucked away for now because there is not the budget to buy for that. So that was my second crochet blanket, and I knit them both on 4mm hooks, and I just followed, I don't even think I followed the pattern, but I would highly recommend the Attic 24 granny stripe. I've done so many that I know off by heart, but I would highly recommend, because that's the pattern I basically followed, because I've made many of them over the years. The next one is a jumper for me, but I'm unsure if it's gonna, I'm unsure. I'll show you. So, oh no, thought I lost some stitches there. So when I finished my blankets, well, when I finished as much as I could of the blankets, Petiteknit was coming out with a new pattern just maybe 6 weeks ago, over 6 weeks ago now, because I was pregnant when I knit this, the Sonja Sweater, which is a very oversized drop shoulder just jumper. It just looked really nice. There was a picture of her, she was standing next to the sea. I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. And I had Peruvian Highland wool in stash, so I cast it on. And I'm just going to hide all these ugly ends, try and make it a bit better. So it's very oversized, and it is oversized, I do know that, but I finished the body. And I need to do a tubular bind off, and I don't know why, because I absolutely adore the tubular bind off, but I can't be bothered. My knitting mojo is back, but it's definitely not the same as what it was. So yeah, I really need to get that done, because I won't know how I like the fit on me until I do that. So obviously I was pregnant before, so I had a ginormous belly, so I couldn't compare. But now I could try it on. I don't know if it'll just be like the perfect dog walking jumper, I'm not sure. Again, with the long gilet that I mentioned, I think it would look really cool. I just don't know if it's too oversized. So I need to get the bind off done, try it on without the sleeves, just to see how big the body is, and then if I'm happy with it, get the sleeves done. This is in Peruvian Highland wool in the very light grey colour, which was in stash. Again, Peruvian Highland wool is not the softest, but perfectly fine. It softens so much as well when I blocked the swatch for this as well. And the neckline is it a folded neckline, I think? I think it's anything with like a double folded neckband. I'm just like a sucker for it. I just love them. I just think it looks so neat and cozy. And this is big and oversized, but I don't know. We'll see. I think it might be the perfect kind of dog walking jumper, especially like transitional again. Transitional, I don't know who I think I am. But I think it might be really nice for like the colder weather until it gets like really cold. So giant oversized jumper might be ideal. I think it was something like, I know a lot of the Petiteknit patterns have a lot of positive ease anyway, but I think it maybe had 25-30 centimeters, I'm not sure. But I did stall a little bit on this because I did also run out of yarn. I needed to buy another 2, so I'm hoping it'll be okay. But yeah, that is the Sonja sweater, and I will hopefully, next time I podcast, hopefully you'll see a Monday sweater and a Sonja sweater. It's quite bad. I have a list on my phone. I was going through the notes on my phone because I quite often keep, when I'm working on like patterns, I quite often write down where I am on my phone just quickly, and I'm like, oh, go back to that, I'm on row. You know, if there's something with like colour work or increases or a raglan or something like that, I always do it for most of my patterns. And I was looking through them because I have them in a folder of like, I think it's just called knitting. And I have a list on my phone of all the Petiteknit jumpers I want to knit, and there's like 25 or something. So I can mark off the Monday and the Sonia once I get them done. So I would really like to get them done soon. The next garment I'm planning to cast on, I'll mention at the end, isn't actually Petiteknit, but that's exciting. So my next project, I just have a box here and I'm just pulling out of them as I go. I only have 4 to go. But the next one is a cardigan. As I mentioned, I had cleared out my office a few weeks ago and gone through all my whips, and I found one that I forgot about. So I can't even remember when. I think this has been on the needles for a year now. I think it was last October, I think. I cast on an Aosta cardigan. So it doesn't look like much right now, but it's a super chunky, well, I think it's chunky. I think it's chunky, it's classed as chunky. I don't have a ball here. Aosta cardigan by the Knit Pearl Girl, and I actually recast this on because I was doing I think the stitch is called the Andalusian stitch, and I had quite obviously messed up the last row, and that's obviously why I had stopped working on it. So I just frogged it, and the yarn didn't frog very well, but I feel like this is going to pill like crazy because it's the, do you call it unspun? Do you call it roving? I can't remember. I'm too tired to think right now. But yeah, this super like 1 strand thick yarn. So I have 6 balls of this colour, I think. And that's just going to make a nice chunky cardigan to wear with like, I don't know, high-waisted jeans and a t-shirt or vest or something like that. But it'll be nice and cosy, and I'm not sure how it'll wear, but we'll see. But yeah, it's just interesting, and it's going to fly as well because it's on something like these needles. They're like cheap needles because I didn't have any big enough. But they don't even say on them what they are, but I think they're like 9mm or 8mm or something. So yeah, I really like it. I really like the colour. Everything is grey in my life, as you can see. I love grey. So yeah, that one probably won't be finished next time, but I'd hope to work on it a little bit because that should be super fast because it's so chunky. My next project is an exciting one. Earlier this year, my friend Lauren, again from Lauren's Knits, and I were talking about Christmas jumpers and garments and things like that. And I do have yarn in stash to make a festive yoke sweater by Skandir Knits. I have some Filicolana, is it Pernilla? Which is like the sport weight of the Peruvian Highland wool, I think. But I'm having some gauge issues with that. I know I said I always have gauge issues, but I do always swatch, and I'm usually thereabout that'll be like, oh, that's fine. But for whatever reason with this one, I am way below, and I've gone up needle sizes for the colour work and I'm still under gauge. So I haven't touched that one again, but I did pick up another whip that I cast on. I can't even remember when I cast it on. Did I cast it on recently or did I cast it on before? Can't remember. But this is the Merriment sweater, which is a Christmas jumper. And it's just stunning. It's ridiculously over the top, but it is absolutely stunning and I love it. It's on a really small needle, so it's really bunched up. But I am so happy with this project. This is the front actually. This is the front here. And yeah, so it's knit, the pattern is by, oh, her name is Natalie something. I'll have all the information down below. Her name is Natalie. Oh, I'm dropping stitches. Oh no. Pick them up. By Remembrance Pottery. I'll have all the info down below, but I saw this jumper years ago and it was in like a mint colour with all the colours in it, so I got some Knit Pick Stroll from, I think my mum gave me it for Christmas maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago even, and it's always just sat in stash and I thought, oh, I'm going to make a crochet blanket for my little boy or something. It's a fiend's another blanket. But I decided, no, you know what, I'm going to cast it on. And it's going so well and it's beautiful and it's such an easy pattern, and I'm actually using mostly Knit Pick Stroll. The dark green is Cascade Heritage left over from the blanket. The mustard is also Cascade Heritage, and I think the purple, and the rest is Knit Pick Stroll, which is really lovely, and again very similar to Cascade. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is running out of this blue, because I've added it in a bit more, like this was meant to be a different colour but I made it blue, and I only have 5 of these I think, but I think that should be plenty. I'm not sure, I hope. It's knit on, I think it's 3mm needles, 3.5 for my colour work. So it's on quite small needles. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with it. I haven't worked on this again for quite some time. I think I was working on this when I was pregnant. I can't think if I've worked on this since baby has been here. But I've split for the sleeves and done maybe 1 pattern repeat. So yeah, I don't know if I'll pick this up. I don't think it'll be finished for this Christmas, which it probably should be. But I'm loving all the other garments, and I'm, like I said, completely obsessed with everything Petiteknit once again. So there's a lot I want to knit, and I have quite a few sweaters quantities in stash to work on. 2 more to go, and they're both blankets again. You'd think my little boy needs like 24 blankets, wouldn't you? So this one is actually a knit blanket, and this was going to be a Christmas present for him last year, I think. I don't know, I'm lost. 2 years ago? No, 2 years ago he would have been little, so last year. But it is the Mosaic blanket by Pearl Soho, and this is lovely. I have never done mosaic knitting before, and oh my goodness, this is so addictive. So because of the way the pattern's written, you do the repeat and then you repeat back the way and you do it again and again. It's so addictive, and because it's mosaic knitting, it's just knit the knits, purl the purls, slip the slips. Is it knit the knits and slip the slips? I can't think, I haven't picked it up in a wee while, I'd have to look at the pattern again. But oh, it's just lovely. I absolutely adore it, and it's a free pattern. And I just think this would look so nice in another colour as well, like on my sofa or something. Maybe not this colour, but maybe like a lighter colour. And I am knitting it in not Cascade, Caron Simply Soft. Please tell me what you do with these, because this is just a giant mess. And they're going to get messier as I start using them. So I probably should have wound these before I started. But it's in white and this beautiful teal colour. I'm not sure what the names are, but I do love I keep saying Cascade Heritage. Caron Simply Soft. It's really soft. And I actually watched a knitting opinions video. You know, like the ones where people give their opinions and the person discusses whether they think. And someone said, like, I really hate Caron Simply Soft. And she was like, absolutely, I detest it too. And she said apparently there's quite a few people said that. I think it's lovely and so soft. I think it's more of like a, I think it's like an RM weight, I think. I'm not sure if I even worked it out properly for the project. I think I maybe just cast it on. But I love it. It looks so nice. And that'll get done at some point. Oh wait, lose stitches again. That will get done at some point again, but again, probably not the first priority because I have a lot that I want to work on. And the last one is yet again another crochet blanket. But this one is quite funny. This one I worked on. I had a pile of Stylecraft rainbow coloured DK in stash for quite some time. I can't even think what I bought them for. Must have been a blanket of some sort. but I decided I was going to cast on a rainbow blanket, and that's how much I've done. And again, I haven't crocheted over the ends. Don't know why. I'm probably going to start from where I start now on this blanket. I'm going to crochet over the ends because you just have so many ends again, and nobody likes sewing in ends. But this blanket I crocheted on when I was up pretty much round the clock with my newborn. I like to really make sure I stay awake, and I did a lot of work on this whilst he was sound asleep on me. He wasn't put down. He didn't like being put down for the first, I mean, he doesn't really like it either now, but he wasn't really put down to sleep for the first like 4 weeks of his life. We were just doing shifts and lots of cuddles, so I got quite a bit of work done on this blanket, and it's gorgeous. And I think I've got purple to add after this, and then pink, and then I'll go and repeat once more, I think, from the red, and it'll just be a nice size. I don't know if I'll do 3. It's quite a big blanket. And this again is loosely based on the Neat Ripple blanket by Attic 24, but again I've changed it a little bit just because I've done so many again. My kind of knitting and crochet journey started making baby blankets, crocheting baby blankets after my dad passed away, and I was advised, I wasn't advised, it was suggested to me by the doctor to crochet, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I found Instagram, and I found the world of crochet on Instagram, so I made so many of these blankets, I can't even tell you. This one, I made so many of these, and I made so many of the zigzag ones, and I made so many of the, it was like the V-stitch, you could make it in like a day blanket, and it was like in a chunky, I think I used like Sailcraft Chunky or Sailcraft Aran, and you could literally make it in a day. I used to crochet for like 4 hours after work, and before I went to bed, and yeah, like almost make a blanket. And that was when I had a lot of disposable income and no little people to look after, or no dog to look after actually, so I had a lot of free time, which I don't have anymore. I have no free time now. But anyway, that is my last project, and I just think it's lovely. My little boy is very excited about that again because he really likes rainbows. He's so knit-worthy because he's so thankful. He doesn't understand, obviously, he's almost 2, but he's like, oh, it's so nice. Like, he's just, yeah, it's so sweet. So he'll have, eventually one day he'll have like 25 blankets, because I'm a blanket addict, and then if the babies don't want it, the babies grow out of blankets, then the dog will want it, because the dog loves a blanket, as I said. So that is my whip parade. Very random. Yeah, a bit odd. Hoping to get some things off the needles at some point. Hoping to get those crochet blankets finished and get my sweep shop blanket finished because I love it. Get the giant elephant that I will show you next time. If I ever get around to podcasting again, I'll show you that next time because it's quite funny. I've used Wool Warehouse have started, I think it's part of the Wool Warehouse family. They've brought out a Snug as a Bug yarn through Yarn Smiths, and it's this beautiful like chenille soft plushy yarn, and I thought I'd make an elephant that I saw on TikTok. So I've started making that, and it really hurts my hands, really hurts my hands. There's no way. I follow someone on YouTube who does it for a job, and she, you know, discusses what she takes to market and how much money she makes doing that and things like that, and her different patterns. My hands hurt so badly, there's no way I could do that, so I need to take a break from that, and probably a break from crafting, even though I'm going to be working on this hopefully all weekend. So yeah, I'm hoping to get my Monday sweater done. By the next time I come to you, I would love to have my Monday sweater done. The Sonja sweater either frogged or done. Probably none of the blankets. And the Musselburgh well on its way, if not done already, well on its way to being done. And I actually hope to cast on a couple of things. Hopefully the fall into autumn cal blanket will have a good bit of work on it, but we'll see. And I'm casting on another jumper in Peruvian Highland wool. It is the Arctic Spring by the Petiteknit, not to be confused with Petiteknit, and I have bought these colours. So it's going to be mostly grey and it's colour work, and then the green and black are the colour work motifs. It's not a lot of colour work, but it's just a little bit, because I think it's less than 50 grams of each colour, and then the grey as the main body colour. So that is my plan. That'll be my next cast on once I get my Monday sweater done. And then I've got a lot of other yarns in stash to make lots of other garments, so I don't know what will be next. I had a weird obsession with cotton yarn and wanting to knit like summer tops like last week. That's gone now. I don't know why, But I was almost ordering some woolly knit and some drops and things like that, but no, I am not doing that. However, I do want to order drops. Daisy has come out, and it's on Wool Warehouse. I think it came on Wool Warehouse yesterday, and it's supposed to be like a dupe for like Double Sunday. I really want to order some, but I better not, because maternity leave, no money. So anyway, that is all of the whips for today. Hopefully next time there'll be some progress on them if my baby allows, we'll see. It's like we go on holiday, but it's like I won't plan like I used to take lots of projects with me, because let's be honest, you're not going to get a lot of time with a toddler and an 8-week-old when we go on holiday. So maybe car knitting, that'll be about the only knitting I get done that week, I can guarantee. So yeah, not a lot happening. Maternity leave is bliss. We've got lots of little groups and things like that. My little boy is still in nursery 2 days, so it's nice to get some bonding time with the little one as well. He's sleeping okay. I'm functioning on a little bit less coffee than I was, but he is, I don't know if you say he has colic or he is a colicky baby, which I never had with my first, so that's interesting. The poor little thing, when you've done everything and nothing works, it's not very pleasant. But we're kind of getting there now, so we've kind of turned a corner this week, which is nice, because it's not nice seeing them upset. But yeah, just boring old mum life, walking my dog every day, that's pretty much it. So yeah, but thank you so much if you've made it this far. It's been a long time since I've been here, and it feels very unnatural, and I feel totally like I don't know what to do, don't know what to say. It feels very strange, it's quite funny, because it has been a long time. So, but yeah, hopefully I do get the chance. I'd like to come back once a month. I don't know if that's possible. It sounds like I'd have all the time in the world being on maternity leave with the 2 little ones, but there's in reality no time at all, and if not, I'd have to film at like 10 o'clock at night, and that's not ideal. I mean, I could do that, it might come down to that, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So anyway, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye!